Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. You see the news. Obi may be on the move, folks. He may be on the move. I got my man, Big Bubba, in the building. We about to go ahead and get this thing popping. According to league sources, and this is from Steve Popper, ladies and gentlemen. According to league sources, they've indicated that Obi Toppin, was hoping for a trade at the deadline last season, and now both sides are in alignment that it's time for a change of scenery for Toppin. So there you go. Sounds like Obi could be on the move this summer. You know what I mean? Could be on the move this summer. Big Bubba, what's popping with you, my man? How you feeling?
Man, first and foremost, I feel good, Sam, and good to be back, man. You know, I've been having these shows kind of late, and I've been a little tired.
Not that late. Well, you can't, like 9:30 is not that late.
Yeah, it's not that late. You know, I'll just be a little tired sometimes. You know, building bookshelves ain't easy, man. Building bookshelves ain't easy. But
yeah, we'll let the people decide that, because I actually got the bookshelf.
Oh, here you go, man.
But we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about Obi.
Yes, Sam. Listen, I think a lot of us got the news today. I believe it was today, and it's not really shocking, Sam. I mean, me and you were talking a little bit earlier, and it's about time, man. He's looking for certain things, and right now on the Knicks, it just ain't gonna happen. And listen, I'm gonna be real, Sam. If you watch the 2-hour interview with Julius Randle, it don't sound like he going anywhere. So
he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. I advise everybody to listen to the 2 hours. And Sim, I'm gonna say it here, Sim. I'm gonna say it here because I'm man enough to say it. I was wrong about Julius Randle.
But look, we're not here to talk about Randle. See, this is the reason why Obi wants to leave.
Listen,
this is the reason why Obi wants to leave. Right? We come on here to talk about Obi, and somehow we transition to Julius Randle.
Yeah, man. Listen, Sam, to be honest with you though, man, we're gonna talk about it, but listen, it's
we talking about it right now.
Oh yeah. It's good for Obi, man. I think this is good for Obi personally. He's looking to get paid. You know, this is his last year on his rookie contract, man, and he's been riding the pine pause for like a couple of years now, man. So it's really much, the Knicks draft. I do believe the Knicks drafted him thinking that Julius wasn't going to be here that long, and Julius just became, he just became part of his prime, man. And he just began to his prime here. So I think Obi thinks he's more than just a bench player. He has potential to be a really good player in this league. I think he does too. He proved me wrong for a few things and proved me right about a few things. But listen, man, I think it's best for both parties for him to go.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely best for both parties. Julius Randle's not going anywhere, so he's going to be stuck behind Julius Randle. I'm assuming that Tom Thibodeau's not confident with either one of those guys playing the three. So you're not going to see, Randle play the three while Obi plays the four. You're not going to see that. Right? So, he'll be stuck to 10 to 12 minutes per game. And then when you factor in, this is the last year of his contract, well, he's going to look at it and say, hey, I want to have a chance to make as much money as possible too. Yeah. And not just that, but I want to play. I want to prove that I could possibly be an all-star in this league. You know what I'm saying? And he's not going to do that behind Julius Randle. So if I was him, I'd want to be on the move, and the Knicks would do well by him, and possibly pick up, a late round draft pick or include him in a bigger trade, to help benefit the team.
Yeah, I agree with you. Again, listen, I'm not going to harp on it too much because, we talked about it so many times throughout the years about picking Obi Toppin that year. And, I just thought it was a mess from the beginning, picking Obi. I had my red flags about him. And again, he proved me wrong with certain things. This year was probably his best year as far as playing and taking and getting opportunity and actually doing something with it this year. He had some good scoring games. And, he played pretty decent in the playoffs for us. So again, I believe The tools are there for Obi to be a great player. It's just not gonna be here.
Yeah.
We don't have the minutes. So just think about this, man. Even if, let's say, he gets a career high 20 minutes, that means you're telling me Julius Randle's going to want to play 20-something minutes?
Well, I mean, it all depends on if he's playing multiple positions.
Yeah.
Right? If he's playing multiple positions. Now, someone asked in the chat who reported, what are the sources? It says right here on the screen. You can see it. This is from Steve Popper, who is from Newsday. All right? So this is not me. I'm just reporting to you what someone else has reported. And according to Steve Popper, league sources indicate that Obi Toppin, was hoping for a trade at the deadline last season. And now, right now, both sides are in alignment that it's time for a change of scenery for Toppin. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Now, look, people can laugh about it or this or that, but it makes sense. It makes sense that Obi would want to move on and that the Knicks would look at it and say, it makes sense for us as well, that you move on. It makes sense. It just makes sense. So, I don't discredit or discount the report because I think it makes sense. You know what I mean? And when you look at some of the best places for Obi, I think Washington right now could be a good fit for Obi Toppin. You know what I'm saying? With the way that things are going in Washington, the way that they're rebuilding, right? Obi could land in Washington, be a starting power forward. He lived in Maryland. He played in Maryland when he was playing for Mount Zion Prep. You know what I'm saying? And, he's familiar. I think he would, do well there. You know what I'm saying? And possibly thrive there. Indiana could be another place for Obi Toppin. Right? So, Isaiah, you're out the screen. Oh, looks like Isaiah's handling some business. Indiana could be another place for Obi Toppin. They've been looking for a power forward. They have late round draft picks that I think the Knicks may be interested in. So it makes sense. I like Obi. I like his athleticism. I think that he has the ability to be an 18-8 guy in this league. He needs the opportunity to do so. Obviously, he's got to work on his, defensive acumen. I think he's got to, build a bigger repertoire of footwork. You know what I'm saying? He can already knock down the three. All right, he's proven that this season. And he's also proven that when he gets some minutes, he can put up some numbers. You know what I mean? So we'll see where he ends up. And it's possible that the Knicks don't like anything that's out there for Obi and he remains a New York Knick. That's also possible. But I think it's very possible that Obi gets traded. And you've heard us talk about it a lot on this channel that, Obi could end up somewhere. We talked about trading Obi for these late first-round picks. Now, who has those first-round picks that the Knicks might be coveting? Indiana does. Charlotte does. Right now, Charlotte, they're going through their own changes with a change of ownership. Right? So who's going to be making those decisions? I assume Michael Jordan is still going to be making those decisions until, everything is complete. But when you look at the Charlotte Hornets, ladies and gentlemen, they have the second pick, the 27th pick, the 34th pick, the 39th pick, the 41st pick. If I'm trading Obi, I'm not interested in the 34th, the 39th, or the 41st. I'm interested in that 27th pick if I'm going to trade Obi. And I think Obi can get you that 27th pick. And what's that do for the Knicks? Well, it basically restarts that rookie contract. Okay? So Obi, who is making, $8 million next season, somewhere around there, he's going to be due either a contract extension or he's going to be a restricted free agent or whatever it is. He's going to be due a qualifying offer in 24-25, right? The Knicks have to make a decision about Obi. Obi, in my opinion, would say, you know what, maybe I'll take the qualifying offer so I can be an unrestricted free agent. Or if he can figure out a way to get out of New York while he's under this current contract, and then if he can perform with that other team, now maybe he can get a bigger contract, a bigger extension. And I think if I'm Obi and I'm Obi's people, that's what I would be looking for. So a place like Washington makes a lot of sense. Right? Because in a place like Washington, Obi's going to, with the way that they're going, he's going to be able to do what he wants to do out there on the floor. He's going to get as many minutes as he can or he wants. He'll put up some numbers, which is going to help him in his contract extension negotiations. All right, so Obi is due $6.8 million in 23-24. There's a qualifying offer of 9.1 in 24-25. Okay? So, if he gets traded to, say, the Washington Wizards and he performs well, they may decide to offer an extension. Right? Now he gets paid a little bit. He's not going to get paid like that with the Knicks. You know what I mean? He's not going to get paid. Julius Randle has a long contract. All right? A good contract, but a long contract. Where you fitting Obi in? Are you assuming that Obi's going to be a bench player for the rest of his career? Does Obi want to be a bench player for the rest of his career? No. Where you fitting Obi in? You're not. And you're definitely not going to fit him in for X amount of dollars. At some point, you have to make a decision about Obi, and it may be this summer that decision comes. My question to you all, well, let me finish this, and then I'll get to that question. So the Hornets got 5 picks. The Knicks could try to get a late-round pick from the Charlotte Hornets. You also have the Indiana Pacers. Right, the Indiana Pacers have picks. You could probably grab a late first-round pick from the Pacers. They got the 7th pick, the 26th pick, the 29th pick, the 32nd pick, and the 55th pick. You might be able to nab one of those picks, the 26th or the 29th pick from the Indiana Pacers for Obi Toppin if the Knicks are looking to get into this draft. Okay? And if the Knicks are able to get into this draft at somewhere around the 26th, 27th, 29th pick by trading Obi, now they get a rookie who can hopefully, who knows? Maybe he can be someone who gives you some production, but you got a guy on a rookie contract for the next 3 years in a low rookie contract. Right? A low rookie contract. I don't know, $2, $3, $4, $5 million, somewhere around there. So this could definitely work out for the New York Knicks if they're able to pull it off. Now, the Knicks could also use Obi in a bigger trade instead of pulling back draft picks. Right? They could decide to move for, Zach LaVine and include Obi, or Kristaps Porzingis and include Obi. It's different things that, of course, the Knicks could do, but we'll see what they work out. I'm pretty sure Leon Rose has been and is on the phone trying to figure out what's going to be the best option for the New York Knicks. All right, there's going to be plenty of options to go around. For those who are just joining us, according to Steve Popper from Newsday, and, there's people saying, oh, Steve Popper, this and that. According to Steve Popper from Newsday, league sources indicated that Toppin was hoping for a trade at the deadline last season, and now both sides are in alignment that it's time for a change of scenery for Toppin. All right. So that's where this news is coming from. Big Head Fred is in the building. Big Bubba, man. Let me ask you, what do you think is the best course of action for the Knicks? Should they try to trade Obi Toppin? If this goes down, should they be looking to trade Obi Toppin for draft picks? Or should they look to include him in a bigger trade?
Sim, oh man. This is tough because here's my thing. If you're gonna trade for picks, you better have a wing in mind. It has to be a wing. It can't be, to me, there's no other position that you need more right now on the Knicks than a wing player. Mm-hmm. So if you're gonna do the picks, it better be a consensus, and it better be a consensus guy on that board at 27 or whatever. If you do trade for Indiana, right, you go get a wing. You need a wing. You have your point guard, you got your shooting guard, you got your power forward, you got your center. You need a small forward. And if you're trading for a player,
so you're assuming you're gonna, with the 26th or 27th or 29th, you think you're gonna get a starting small forward, a guy that's gonna come in and start right now?
No, you're not gonna get that.
Probably not.
Probably not. You're not gonna get that. But you can get a developmental guy, a guy that's a 3-and-D, possibly, maybe a junior out of a college or a sophomore, maybe. Knicks pretty much are notorious for drafting sophomores. Maybe get those, because again, I can't lie to them. The Knicks hit on their late first round picks. The Knicks have had first round picks, they do. Knock on wood, they've been hitting on the late round picks. So you can do that. If you're gonna get a player, again, the same thing. You need to get a wing. Get some. I would prefer a 3-and-D kind of guy, wing. Did Kyle Kuzma opt in or opt out of his contract?
He opted out of his contract. He notified.
So now you can't trade him. You can't trade for him now.
Well, let's put it like this. I don't know. Let's put it like this. He notified them that he intends to opt out. Did he sign or do whatever paperwork or whatever needs to be done to opt out? Who knows? Because maybe he says, yeah, I'm going to opt out, but he's still working on signing trade scenarios or something like that. Seems like he might want to go into free agency and create a bidding war because he's going to be one of the bigger names on the market.
Yeah. See, again, Sim, Kyle, Sim, for me, Kyle Kuzma is really high on my board as far as players I want for the Knicks.
Hey, Isaiah, man, you're falling off the screen. Slide over, stay in the middle. Teaching moments. See, this is why Obi's wants out. I'm going to have to trade you for a first-round draft pick.
Hey, listen, you ain't trading me. I got no trade clause. I'm Bradley Bill on this show. No, but so Sim, for me,
now that bookshelf you made, I got it too, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna throw it across the screen before we done.
No, Sim, what picture you got?
I got it. Go ahead. Say what you're saying.
Because I know you got a crazy picture. Nah, so Sim, for me, man, it really comes down. So, for example, right, if there's a possibility during the trade on draft Thursday, you can, if he didn't, so if the official paperwork hasn't worked out right yet, the official paperwork hasn't worked, technically he's still a Wizard. So you have a chance to trade for Kyle Kuzma, give him back their first round pick. Because, the Wizards are looking for young talent and get off all these contracts. That's their goal.
So, okay, so the thing about the first round draft pick, the only way that the Wizards, in my opinion, take it back is if they feel like they're going to use it in a trade. Yeah. Right? Then they'll take it back. But if they're not going to use it in a trade, there's protections on it. They're not worried about it for next year. They know they're not going to be good. At least they think they're not going to be good.
Well, Sim, you're looking at the files. I don't think I think Chris Paul is going to get brought out. I think KP's not going back to the Wizards.
Right.
Unless he wants to just go for the money, I don't think KP's going back to the Wizards. So I think they're going to.
I mean, he's going to get his money regardless because he can opt into his contract and then they could move him.
Yeah.
He's going to get his money either way.
Sim, that's another guy. Listen, I told you before. I know you're not the highest back on KP, but if he opts in, you actually have Obi, you got Evan Fournier, you got expiring contracts to get KP if you really want him back.
Right. I mean, they have the ability to. The Knicks have the ability. That's the one thing right now. They have the assets to move for a player. They have the assets to move for a player. You know what I mean? And Obi would be one of those assets. I think Emmanuel Quickly, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle. I think those 4 guys, when you talk about a trade getting done, those 4 guys, depending on who that trade is for, would be the guys whose names are probably brought up. And I really could see, I don't want to lose IQ. I don't. I'm not going to lie, I don't. But I really could see the Washington Wizards wanting IQ and Obi as a way to jumpstart their rebuild. 2 young guys who have promising futures. Obi a little older, of course, 24, 25, who have connections to the area, right? Emmanuel Quickly grew up
Maryland,
Havre de Grace, just above Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Obi Toppin played at least a year of high school prep in Maryland.
Sim,
it makes a lot of sense, and both of those guys will start and just get a chance to ball.
They would start.
Just ball. You know what I mean? And and people will love them because they're both like
local
fan
kids.
favorites, though. They're fan favorites. They do well with the media. You know what I'm saying? People like them, kids like them, all of that. They would do well with those guys.
Sam, here's my biggest. You want to know my biggest fear? I think Quickly could be a star.
But hey, I know.
Quickly can be it.
I know, but where does Quickly find that room on the Knicks? You got Jalen Brunson. Where does he find that room? Unless he's going to be a shooting guard, and you're sending R.J. Barrett to the 3.
Sam. Oh man, Sam,
I mean, I'm just saying,
right now,
I could see it. I could see a very, very nice fit in DC for both of those guys. They get a chance to play. They're, have connections to the area, fan favorites. You know what I'm saying? They're best friends. They're best friends. I could see it happening. Let's just say that.
Let me say something. If they both bloom, the Knicks are gonna get killed, right?
Depends on where the Knicks are. No, it depends on where the Knicks are.
If the
Knicks are in contention,
it does depend on where the Knicks are.
If the Knicks are in contention, then it won't happen.
Yeah,
people won't bug out.
So I'm trying to keep Quickly as much as I can. Everybody loves him except Andy. So,
right.
I'm trying to keep Quickly as much as I can. Again, and here's the things too, Sim. It's a business at the end of the day. We all know the relationship Obi and Quickly have. We know that they're best friends. They're not best friends. They're basically brothers. So it's going to be tough. Now, let me say though, if we're doing that, Sim, off the back, I need a no protection pick. No protection first round pick from the Wizards.
Well, I think if the Knicks are moving on from Obi Toppin and they're looking for a first round pick, it's not going to be the Washington Wizards, because the Wizards are going to be looking to keep their picks with the way that they're going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But if you want Quickly, listen, I'm not. Listen, I'm. It ain't no top 10%. The most I would do for that, Sim, top 5, and I'm even scared to do that because I think they're going to be bad next year.
They are. They're going to be bad. I mean, I'm just saying. I think the Wizards are in asset acquisition mode right now. Not even just talent, asset acquisition mode, so that they can rebuild as fast as possible. You know what I mean? So I think if Obi ends up in Washington, it's going to be a player trade. That's what I think. The Washington Wizards, this season, they have the 8th pick, they have the 42nd pick, and they have the 59th pick. All right, you're not trading Obi for the 42nd or the 59th pick, and they're definitely not giving up. I don't know who said it before. Oh, some dude called up. I forgot his name now. He called up and he said, trade Randall, for KP and the 8th pick. I was like, man, they not doing that.
Randall ain't that good.
You know what I'm saying? But you're not going to get the 8th pick for Obi Toppin.
No.
Right? So that's not happening. And they want to collect their pick. So if you're trading Obi, in my opinion, if you're trading Obi to Washington, you're bringing back a player. If you trade him to Indiana or Charlotte, now I think there's a bigger possibility you're bringing back draft picks because they have 5 picks in this draft alone, and each of them have picks in the later part of the first round. So that's why I think the Knicks could be having some conversations with the Pacers and the Charlotte Hornets when it comes to trading Obi Toppin for a first-round pick. You know what I mean?
So if it's the Hornets, then again, I think both these teams are very similar.
Who?
The Hornets and the Wizards. They're both trying to. I would say the Hornets are a little bit ahead because of they got a future superstar in LaMelo Ball.
Mm-hmm.
He's box office. He brings he brings fans to the stands. But I mean, if you're looking to replace Miles Turner, no, not Miles Turner. What's the dude's name? Bridges. Miles Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who's better to replace him than Obi Toppin?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, right now I'm probably having talks about Zion as well in Charlotte.
Yeah,
for that second
I know
pick,
that's
right. So that's something that's out there. You know what I mean? And listen, as far as Obi being moved, because they play the same position, if Zion is actually on the market, you might not see anything happen with Obi until that happens with Zion. Whatever happens with Zion, then you say, okay, what happens with Obi? We'll see. Let me get to a phone call real quick. Yep. All right, caller, you're live. Name and where you're from, please.
Yeah, what's going on, my brothers? Mr. Welp, I spoke to you yesterday about Julius.
Mr. Well, yeah, what's going on?
Barrett, and you disagreed with me, but hey, you may disagree with me again. I would not trade Obi. Why? He's younger. We haven't seen the best of him. We know what Julius can do, and we know that he lays an egg when it comes to the playoff. With Obi, he's young. He's very athletic. There's no way on God's earth with someone with that kind of athleticism that I'm going to let him go for a bag of chips. You're talking about the 26th round, the 27th pick, the 28th pick, the 30th pick. I wouldn't let him go for that. We picked him at number 8. So why would I pick someone with great athleticism that has great upside, that I haven't seen his full potential? He hasn't blossomed yet. And I'm going to trade him for a 27th, 28th, 30th pick. To me, that would be a huge mistake because let's say, like the young man next to you, let's say if he does blossom. Mm-hmm. And then the Knicks, we Knicks fans we may even rally in front of Madison Square Garden because that would, to me, that's bad management. You have a guy who's to me is going to become better than Julius Randle altogether. And if you get if you get this guy from Charlotte, what's his name? Not from Charlotte. If you get Zion, then that takes Randle out the picture because they both play the power forward position, and then Obi could come off the bench for Zion. And to me, that would be a better move than moving Zion, and we don't even know what Zion could become.
Right, but that puts Obi in the same.
Obi could become. I'm sorry,
but that puts Obi. Let's just say they did what you said, right? You brought in Zion and Obi still coming. That puts Obi in the same exact position that he's in now. He's still going to play 10 to 12 minutes a game. I think Obi believes that he's a starter in this league.
You don't think you'll be happier playing with a beast like because it's not every team that's going to have a Zion on their team. It's like playing with MJ or playing with an all-star Kobe. When you have a player of that magnitude on your team, I think people will make a sacrifice, especially when they want the chip.
Yeah, I don't think I think Obi wants to start. I think Obi wants to prove that he's just as good as Zion, or just as good as Julius Randle. I think he wants to start. Like, this is his career. If he continues to be happy with coming off the bench, then he's going to continue to be happy with coming off the bench type of money. And right now, he's going into a contract year. Obi wants to start and prove that he's going to be worth making more money. And I'm sure he wants to, just for his career, get better for his career, but also for, he wants to prove, hey, I can start. I can give you 18 and 8. I can give you 20 and 8, whatever it is. And I deserve to make $15 to $20 million a year when that time comes. He's not going to do that coming off the bench.
And you're absolutely right. I agree with you 100%. Now, is Washington the right place for him to do that? I'm not sure, because you and I both know that whenever you play for a team that no one considers relevant, especially the media, even if you average 25 and 8 or 25 and 15, you're never going to be recognized as a top player. You're never going to be recognized for what you do. And I'm even telling you, like Joker, no one took that team, and no one even took the Joker serious until the playoffs. And the Joker's been a beast ever since. And no one ever gave that man his roses, his due justice. He had to win a ring for the media to respect him, which sometimes I think is harsh, that you need to win a ring, because Barkley never won a ring. And Barkley is one of the top 50 greatest players. But here you have a Joker who's, to me was a top player as well. And no one gave that man his just due.
Yeah, I mean, I think, let's put it like this. I mean, Bradley Beal, you seen the contract Bradley Beal had, and Washington wasn't going nowhere. And you seen the contract he had. All he has to do is be that valuable to the team that he's on. And I think a place like Washington, he would be that valuable to that team, because they traded away Rui Hachimura, who was an up-and-coming power forward in this league, a guy that can be 3 and 4, right? Kyle Kuzma, he's going into free agency. So they're going to be losing Kyle Kuzma. You know what I'm saying? He is somebody who could fit there perfectly. But, hey, Mr. Well, I thank you for calling in. I appreciate the time again, man.
Yes, sir. God bless.
I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Peace. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of thoughts. A lot of people have opinions about Obi and whether or not it was, it's going to be the right move for the Knicks to move on from Obi Toppin. You know what I'm saying?
And Sim, what was crazy? What he didn't mention during that whole thing. Do people forget, Sim, before Bradley Beal, I think, and before Damian Lillard, Joker was the highest paid player of all time. He signed the highest paid contract. Because Denver saw the value in Joker. And to me it wasn't, and I'm not saying this to go on at the caller, but people have been talking about Joker for a while, man. That dude is special, man. He's putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers. It's all about the game. I think Washington, to me, Sim, Washington, Indiana, and the Hornets are probably the 3 best places for Obi Toppin to go. There's pretty much no pressure to win there, and those guys will be building.
Yeah.
Again, and to me in Washington, it's almost perfect, because he's going to get all the. Listen, they're going to be bad. They're going to be. You're talking about a bottom 5-6 team next year, most likely. If KP and Kyle Kuzma and they buy out Chris Paul, who do they have? So Obi's going to get all the minutes. And again, FYI to a lot of people, these guys want to make as much money. So like you said, if you continue to be a bench player, unless you're like a Jamal Crawford, J.R. Smith, or Manuel Quickly kind of player, you're not going to get paid a lot of money. Like, you're going to get, $5 million here, $10 million here. You're gonna bounce from team to team. Like you're gonna be like Jeff Green or some of those guys. It's Smith.
Yeah,
Obi wants to make 15, like you said, he's looking to make 20-something million per season.
Yeah, I mean,
he's trying to get that contract.
He's trying to, he's trying to get the contract. He's trying to prove that he was an 8th pick. I think he believes he has talent. He's gonna, he wants to prove that he can be a starter in this league.
And Sim, I guarantee you, he hears and Sim, him scoring those 40-point games, that means something to him, Sim, because that he's telling himself, I can score in this league. I can drop 40 in this league. I can drop 50 in this league. I can do it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let me get to a super chat, then I'll get to phone call. Ricardo, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. He says, Sim, mark my words, Obi will become the next Sean Marion, a.k.a. the Matrix from the Suns. Same body type and skill set. I think Obi will become a real good watch. He could. As a matter of fact, I likened him to Sean Marion myself. You know what I'm saying? And his style of play and all that kind of,
Yes, I think. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say my ceiling for him, for Obi, I see what's the dude name in Denver, Sim? He was on Orlando Magic.
Aaron Gordon.
I see Aaron Gordon.
You got to play defense like Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, yeah, that's a difference.
And Sean Marion.
Yeah.
And Sean Marion.
I think that's what I see for Obi, though. Obi can definitely be an Aaron Gordon, I think, at his highest level. And, I think that's his ceiling.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, we'll see what's up. Let's get you another phone call here. All right. Caller, you're live. Name and where you're from, please.
This is Mark Love. What's up, Sam?
Mark Love. Now you Mark Love. What happened to who's Mark? Mark Love? Oh, boy.
I'm just spreading love.
The legend's back.
People leave and come back with new names. Mark Love.
Listen,
oh man.
It's always good to evolve,
Okay. I feel you on that one. What's going on with you, man? What's going on with you?
I'm still trying to recover because that should have been us in the finals. So I'm still recovering from this. But
come on, Mark.
Bro, we wasn't good enough to be in the finals,
man.
Sam,
that Miami team wasn't good enough. That team was really not good enough, bro. And I thought we matched up completely well with the Celtics. Miami shouldn't be in the finals. And that was a horrible finals to watch because it was just over from game one. Sorry. Couldn't watch that finals. But other than that, it's time for Obi to go. I've seen this coming from a long time because of his situation and who he plays behind.
Mm-hmm.
And the coach that we have. Well, ironically, this is Tibbs' last year. So
You think so?
It's his last year, Sim. I cannot take, like I said, give him his 4 years.
I know what you can't take. But what can Leon Rose take? I know what you can't take, though. But so you saying it's Tibbs' last year?
This is last year because he has a hard time adjusting to things. Just when I watched that playoff run, it was just retarded to me. Game after game, it was just retarded. From an adjustment standpoint...
Mark.
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
The dude is going to do what he feels is necessary to stick to his game plan. I need someone that's going to change. And he's just not going to change on the fly when it needs to be changed. So he had his good 4 years, made us very vital. It's time for a change just from an offensive standpoint. Because to watch Jalen Brunson go hero on like every possession was like ridiculous. And it was just horrible to watch. But Obi, send him out. We should have never took him. And Tim, you talk about getting a draft pick for him. I don't even advise that because having Tibbs, he has a hard time playing young guys. I think you just need to get a established wing or something like that.
I mean, Emmanuel quickly played when he was a rookie. Quentin Grimes played when he was a rookie. Started in this year as a second-year player. Even Obi played 10 to 12 minutes a game since his rookie year. I mean,
you even with that, it's like Obi cannot really flourish in the 10-12. So what's the point of having a player if he's not going to, if he can't flourish and allow his talent to flourish in the 10-12, you rather go get somebody who's going to help you now, just like help you now.
I mean,
while we have
I dig what you're saying, but Emmanuel quickly's been able to flourish. Quentin Grimes is giving the minutes. He's given the minutes to flourish. We'll see if he's able to flourish. I just disagree with that. I think he will play. If they can play, I think he'll put him out there.
No, because they play two total different positions. IQ needs the ball. That's the difference.
What I'm saying, what I'm saying, Mark, what I'm saying is I disagree that he won't play young players. I believe if that player is good enough to play, he'll play him. That's what I believe. I mean, we have some guys who's been getting 20 minutes plus per game since they were rookies.
Well, listen.
That's all I'm saying.
We have some tradable contracts.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about Levine. I really don't know where to go with it because with Levine, he has injury issues also, especially with the lower extremities. And you know, Tibbs, with Levine, he's going to play 35 plus minutes. And I just don't listen. People talk about Zion. I don't even want Zion here because that's like putting Zion here playing 38 to 40 minutes, giving Randall minutes, and he's more of an injury-prone player. Nah, listen, we stuck with Randall to the foreseeable future. What you do with Obi, if you could patch him up to get like an established wing player, you do so.
Okay, so that's what you would rather do. Package him up to get.
Yeah, because bringing in the rookie is just like it's not going to make no sense because that rookie's going to make mistakes. Tibbs wants someone that's going to want to play and play hard and play right now because this is his last chance for him to even get an extra contract. Okay. So for him, he's going to look for an established wing player to help him so he can get his contract so he can stay with the Knicks. Bringing a young player is not it's going to defeat.
Okay, no, I get it. I understand. But getting the draft pick, let's put it like this. Let's say that they want to make a move with a team that wants draft picks, then that could be a purpose to get the draft pick. Maybe they want a draft pick instead of Obi or whatever it is if they're making a move with another team. But I can dig that. You know what I'm saying? I can understand what you're saying.
I had this one idea. There's two guys who I like in this draft from a standpoint where the Knicks can leverage and really get into the draft. The wing player who I like that would fit very well for the Knicks and his basketball sound, and I think if he came here and he played well, Chris Murray, twin brother of the Murray from Sacramento Kings. His young brother, he plays the wing, shoots, I think, 40 from 3.
Okay.
He attacks, he gets into the paint well. He plays very sound basketball. Him and this other guy, got his name, but I think he's going to be a lottery pick. I don't think the Knicks can get into the lottery pick. He's picked at 8. He's this, I forgot his name. Not what team he plays for, but he's a 6'7" point guard.
Cam Whitmore?
Oh, we're not getting that high.
Yeah, I know we're not getting high. That's why I said. That's what I was saying with the Wizards. I would load because if I could send out quickly an Obi and those first round picks that we have, because that Wizards pick that we got, we might as well give it back to them. So that's a top 12 protected.
I mean,
if
they might not want it back. Why? If they're not going to be good, unless they're going to trade it, why would they want it back? They got protections on it, so they just got to not be good, and they get to use it as a first-round pick until it turns into, it conveys to the Knicks as second-round picks.
Hey, Mark, can I ask you a question, Mark?
Go ahead, Isaiah.
How do you feel about bringing KP back?
I was thinking it very hard because
that's his guy.
I mean,
no,
Mark, I'm going to tell you what, Mark. I think you got a lot of supporters now for bringing KP back. I'm a supporter of bringing him back.
I'm always right. Listen, I'm always right. But anyway, it would make perfect sense because it would make perfect sense because I like Mitchell Robinson. He can come off the bench. I think we need a center who can shoot the ball, play basketball sound, that can pass out the post, that could just do more than Mitchell Robinson. We can still keep Mitchell Robinson because I think we could get Obi, Hicks. The fillers will be Evan Fournier and Derrick Rose, both of them. Who cares? And we can get Porzingis. And the best thing with that Porzingis is that the way the Knicks does contracts, I trust them to get him on a lower deal. If we was able to get him on a lower deal, because I think he wants to come back in his heart. And if that is true, that's leverage on our ass to give him a great size contract.
Well, if he opts into that $36 million deal, for this last year, if he opts in, then, I mean, you're talking about next season, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about next season. Because that's the last. He's not going to get nothing close to that ever again. That's just not going to happen.
I agree there. I agree. I don't think
because
he will.
Him starting at 36 mil, that means his contract's supposed to go up. He's never going to be a 35 plus to 40 guy ever again. No.
Yeah.
That's done. So what would be great for us is to have him in the fold because he still averaged 2-3 blocks. He averaged 8 rebounds. He could shoot. He can play in the post. He could make plays for other guys on the floor. And he's still a threat because he's 7 foot. And that would help Randall even more so we don't have to completely rely on him. So just to have him will be extra to help Randall.
I feel
so that would be very, very.
I feel you.
I think that would be the number one thing that we do.
I mean, I haven't been the biggest fan of it, but I've been warming up to it over the past week or so, and just understanding how it could, now, you can spread that offense around even more within that unit and not have to rely so much on one player, without a doubt. I dig it. But who's Mark? Mark Love. Yeah. I don't know how many more nicknames he got, but I appreciate you calling in, man. You got to make sure you call him more often. I don't know, you go ghost sometimes.
Hey, Mark, man, I'm going to say this too, man. I really hope you come out Thursday, man. It'd be great to see you, brother. It's been a while. And, we miss your energy, man. It's a great energy, man.
No doubt.
I love you. Is that Josh?
That's
Hello, Josh.
Julio. No doubt. Mark, we appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, shout out to the chat, man.
No doubt. Peace.
Man, Sim, let me say something, man, before Josh goes. It's a good show when Mark comes in and calls in, man. It's a good show.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. And what Isaiah was talking about, ladies and gentlemen, when he said, make sure you come out, he was talking about the draft party on Thursday. We got a draft party on Thursday. Please make sure you join us in that draft party. It's going to be dope. It's at Legends. Let me get the right flyer on the screen for you. All right. Join us. All right. 7 p.m. at Legends, 6 West 33rd Street. All right. Free event. There's a link in the description of the video. There's one tag to the top of your YouTube chat so that you can join us for the draft party. And then the next week on July 1st from 12 to 5, we got a summer cookout, the first ever NBK summer cookout.
I'll be on the grill, everybody.
Come check us out, man. It's going to be dope. All right. There's a link in the description, tag to the top of your YouTube chat where you can register for either one of them. All right. So make sure you're out there with us, man. Uncle Fulio, what's popping with you, bro?
Salute, fellas. Salute to the chat. What's going on with y'all? How you doing?
Good, man. Just talking about this possibilities of, Obi being moved this offseason, which I think there's a very good possibility of.
Yeah, Sam, this is not surprising for me at all. I've always said that the Knicks eventually are going to have to make a decision between Obi and Randall. And I guess Obi at this point is kind of forcing their hand a little bit, saying, he wants to play more, and as he should, right? So I think this is a perfect opportunity for us to see what we can go and get for him. If it was up to me, I think the Knicks should prioritize including Obi in a bigger deal instead of trying to trade into the draft. I just don't think this is the right time at this very moment for the Knicks to go try to get another young player to put on this roster. I think the difference between now and before, I think Mark was almost everything he said was correct. But I think the difference between now and before with Grimes and Quickly, I just think the rotation is much tighter now. There's much more continuity in the rotation. And, taking Obi out for a young player in the draft that you're going to draft, I don't think he's going to play that much. I think the chances of him playing are very slim, right? And then you have to develop him and things like that. Now, what you said, Sim, in regards to maybe the Knicks can draft that player and then potentially move him, that's a possibility. But I think the draft pick, once you draft them, it loses value. So to me, I just don't think the Knicks should go that route. If I was up to them, I would prioritize including Obi in a bigger package.
Right. I think it depending on. I think it depends on the way things go down. So let's say they made the move, which they probably wouldn't. If they made the move before the draft and then they drafted for somebody else that they were doing a bigger move. I mean, there's so many things that could happen. Who knows where it could lie, where it could end up. I mean, I think the Knicks should try to use Obi for an established player, but also try to get a second-round pick from somewhere and get a stash guy, because you always got to be filling out the end of your bench. You always got to be adding players that you're growing and developing and bringing them up into your system, because things like Obi Toppin, let's say he stayed on the team and then, he wants to be a starter, but now you're up to, okay, it's time to make a decision. What do? Emmanuel Quickly is going to be in that situation. So I think you always got to have people coming up that you're ready to plug in there. And you see a lot of your better teams always have somebody waiting in the wings. Does it have to be a late first-round pick? Doesn't have to be. But I would like to see the Knicks, if they're going to move Obi for an established player, an established wing player, which I definitely agree with, find a way to get into that second round, get a guy that you can start grooming and bringing along.
Amani Bates.
You know what I'm saying?
Him.
Guy that you can start moving along.
No, I'm not saying you're correct. But what about the end of the bench guys that we already have? I think the Knicks they have a pretty good farm system. They've been developing pretty well. We can use some of the people that we already have. See, to me,
but you can't have too many of them, in my opinion. That's what I'm saying. Now, you gotta have. You can't have too many of them. You gotta have guys, a pool of guys that you can go, dip into and say, okay, let's bring this guy up. Let's bring that guy up.
Yeah, and to be fair, Josh, I mean, me personally, I don't really like our and the bench guys really much. Kills. I'm really, really not a big fan of Kills, to be quite frank with you. I don't really see it. I think you have I like the other kid though. I forgot his name. It starts with an F, his last name, something like that.
Farron Hunt.
Yeah, Farron. We still have Farron Hunt.
Farron Hunt, yeah, he's still around.
Yeah. I like Farron Hunt. He's an interesting player, but to me, there's not that much. But if you have a chance, like Sim said, if you get a second round pick, and if you get a guy like Amani Bates, and really home in on him, and let him get focused, I think you're talking about a great steal when it comes to having stuff like that coming down. So again, like Sim said, the end of the bench can always be changed. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I agree with both of you. I just think, the pros outweigh the cons, in my opinion. First of all, if you're going to trade Obi Toppin and try to get into the second round, and Isaiah, you're honing on specific players in the second round, that's very, very difficult to do. Like, I mean, the teams that can be able to pull it off and they know exactly who they want to get, and they're actually scouting the draft and seeing what position they can get in there, that's great. But it's just very, very difficult to do. I think the easiest and, to me, the most productive move for the Knicks to do is for them to package Obi in a bigger deal, get it, because it doesn't make sense for the Knicks to add a younger player in the late first round to this particular roster, to this rotation at this very moment. And I know a lot of fans are infatuated with the draft and they like infecting new blood into the organization. Yeah, we drafted that guy, but I just think right now for Obi, I would rather put him in a bigger deal, get that wing player that we need. And let's take it from there. And then we can fill out the end of the bench at the end. We can worry about that at the end.
And Josh, I fully agree. Listen, man, this is a good day today. I fully agree with Josh. I think right now where we're at, even if you, and I'm gonna go back to the Randall interview, because I think Randall told us how a lot of the front office is feeling. The Knicks feel like they're right there.
Yep.
He said that, we're close. So that means, to me, that says that Thibs thinks we're close. And FYI, I know what Mark said. Thibs ain't going nowhere. Thibs ain't going nowhere.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next year.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
But I'm gonna say this though. I really do think the Knicks brass, the Knicks office, everybody's in tune right now saying, we're right there.
I agree.
And we're saying that, again, I've been adamant about it. If you're gonna trade Obi, go get your starting wing player.
I mean,
get that guy. Listen, if there's a chance, listen, I'll say this too, Sim, and I'm gonna throw a name out there. If there's a chance where Golden State says, "Listen, Draymond's not coming back," there's a few things we want to change. Listen, I'm gonna be aggressive. Go get me Wiggins. I'm gonna be aggressive. Go get me Andrew Wiggins. And I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna say this right now, Sim. I'm throwing multiple first round picks to go get Andrew Wiggins. I'm doing it for him. Kyle Kuzma, I think, is a very strong. I think if I'm also the Knicks, I'm going hard to get Kyle Kuzma. I'm going hard because I think one of those guys can put the Knicks next to the Celtics, next to the Heat, next to the Bucks. I believe one of those guys can do that for us because I said we're right there. We were 2 games away. We were 1 game. We were 4 points away from 5 points away for forcing the game 7 back in the Garden with the Heat.
Yeah.
So we right there, man. We're right there. So certain little pieces here, or maybe a big piece there. It depends on who the player is. Only thing, George, that scared me about the big piece, it gotta be the right big piece. Because if you do that, that means you're throwing your chips in and saying this is gonna be our squad.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what Golden State is going to do because as we speak, for next season, they're at $201 million for their salary cap. 201 as we speak. Steph Curry makes
owners don't care about that. They can pay that. They ain't worried about that.
Yeah, but Steph Curry's at 51.9, Klay Thompson 43.2, Wiggins is 24, Draymond Green has an opt-in, or he
opted out.
He opted out, but he's opted out, so that $27 million comes off the books. Isn't on there. If he would have, it's a hold on there, but once he opts out, then it's no longer a hold. But Jordan Poole, $27.9 million. So we'll see what they decide to do if they feel like they're still championship contenders or, they need to look in another way. If they still feel like they're championship contenders, I don't think they'll care about it. They're just going to keep going. If they don't feel like they're championship contenders, then they may look to make another decision. You know what I mean? Let me get
and Josh, let me tell you why you're wrong, Josh. You said something that was really you were perfect almost. Billionaires care about losing money. they don't.
They're not losing. No.
They're not really losing
I didn't
money.
say that they're not losing money. That's the point. I said they don't care. They're making money. They all the revenue they get in San Francisco, first of all, new building, all the revenue from. I think what the Warriors are going through right now, and I still believe that they consider themselves championship contenders. This is about legacy for them. Like all the money that they're getting from Curry and the revenue and the jerseys and all of that, this is what they're going through right now. They're not worried about spending over the luxury tax. They can care less. Some owners are making way more money.
I think Curry by himself is making them almost $1 billion. So I don't think they really work.
We'll see. We'll see what they care about as the season goes on. There's been some question out there, wondering what they might do. We'll see what they care about. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm Lauren. I'm calling from Los Angeles.
What's going on, man? You said Lauren?
Yeah, Lauren.
Lauren, what's going on, Lauren? How you feeling?
Good. So the gentleman in the bottom right said we are that close to the championship teams, and he couldn't be more wrong. Here's the thing. The problem is not Obi. The problem is not Randall. The problem is nobody on our roster. The problem is our coach. Point blank. Let me read you some stats. And the good thing about the internet is you can fact check this if I'm lying right on the spot.
All right.
The Knicks were last place in the entire NBA in team assist. Last place in secondary assist. That means when somebody passes the ball and passes again, we're like bottom 5. We're last place. No, we're last place in that stat. We're bottom 5 in touches, meaning we touch the ball bottom 5 of the league. I'm going to keep going. Jalen Brunson dribbled and held the ball more than any player in the entire NBA. I'm going to say that again. Jalen Brunson, of all 450 players in the NBA, dribbled and held the ball more than any human being who wore a basketball jersey in the NBA this year. Guess what? Julius Randle dribbled and held the ball more than any big in the entire NBA. Obi Toppin, 60% of his points made this year came from 3. Why? Well, let me ask you a question. I keep hearing this thing about we have to choose between Obi and Randle, Obi and Randle, Obi and Randle. On offense, did the Suns have to pick between Marion and Amari? No, because their games are completely different.
They played two different positions.
No. Sean Marion was a small forward, power forward.
And Amari was a power forward / center.
And it was exactly. So they both played power forward. Here's another thing. The Nuggets did not have to pick between MPJ, Jokic, or Aaron Gordon. Here's another fact. Do you know that the Knicks ran the least amount of pick and rolls in the entire NBA? Do you know we're bottom of the league in pace in the NBA?
Yep.
Everything that shows ball
top 5 in isolation. You're not wrong with the stats, but I don't get the comparisons.
This is why I'm saying this, right? We have a roster. We got to consider the new CBA, right? It's going to be extremely difficult to have more than 2 max players on your roster. Now, here's the thing. We have both Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson on some of the cheapest deals for superstars in the entire league. They both make less than Bradley Beal, both of them, right? We have all our assets. We have all our youth. We have an amazingly constructed roster based on the pay that we're putting out there, right? So we're not overpaying for anybody.
Right.
We have players who are dynamic. We have Grimes. We have Quickly. We have Obi. We have Hartenstein. We have Sims. We have all these players. By the way, Mitchell Robinson, #1 in the league in contested offensive rebounds. Like, we really have great players. We just have a coach that does not use these players to the best of their abilities. Do you know that in the playoffs, the only duo that dribbled more than us and held the ball more than us was the team that we beat in Cleveland? And you could see vividly why they lost, because they literally handed the ball to Garland and Donovan to take us there. We have all these assets on our team, and we literally don't use them. And I believe this one thing. What's his name? Leon Rose has done an amazing job so far, not overpaying, not throwing away our assets, keeping our rookies and keeping our youth and building them. And he's done a good job so far holding on to Tom Thibodeau so far. He needs to let it go. Because if we make the decision to let Obi go, we will be making the biggest mistake for his administration. Not because Obi is going to be this superstar, but because he is pitching his tent on Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau is not taking us anywhere further than he's already taken us. He's legitimate. Statistically, he can't do it. Here's another thing. Before Derrick Rose got here, we were a losing team. Derrick Rose got here, we made the playoffs in a shortened season. Without a point guard who plays ISO 99% of the time, we missed the play-in tournament the next season. This literally means this guy has no offensive scheme at all. And we keep holding on to him. One thing that we're not going to talk about, a lot of people don't want to say, one of the main reasons why we made the playoffs is because of that Josh Hart addition, because Josh Hart brought his own ball movement to the team. And you can see how the bench plays in comparison to the starters. The bench comes in, it's not because they're playing against less competition. It's because they literally don't have egos and just move the ball. Literally. And we're holding on to this coach.
It's
and
relative.
Start making decisions.
I think it's relative because they're playing against less competition too. You know, would they do that? Would they do the same thing against the other team starting 5?
No.
You don't know.
No.
But they'll move the ball better. They'll move the ball way better. It
doesn't mean it's going to be successful against a higher level of competition.
It's more successful than here's another stat. The worst player in the entire NBA in ISO and crunch time by a mile is Julius Randle. Like, the statistics are literally there. And we're doing everything completely opposite. And I keep hearing this thing about the Knicks have the fourth ranked offense. No, the Knicks have the 4th ranked offense because Jalen Brunson hit shots. That's why we have that.
It's a make or miss league.
You know, listen. I mean, I don't think anybody disagrees with you. I don't think anyone disagrees with you about, you know, there being more variation within the offense. I'm not going to say that's the only reason why we lost. I mean, there's a lot of factors. There's a lot of factors. I mean, obviously in the playoffs, you know, offense was the reason why we lost. But
sorry, here's the question: why did we lose against the Heat?
Well, against the Heat in the playoffs, like I said, you know, our offense was stalled. You know what I'm saying? But I think I think that has a lot to do with player personnel as well. You know what I'm saying? I think you're shaking your head. You're shaking your head. I think if Mitchell Robinson was a different player, if that was KP, I think our offense looks a lot different.
Whoa. Okay, now let me ask you.
Right? If we had a shooting 5, I think our offense looks a lot different.
Let me ask you a question. Different. I love when people bring up Mitchell Robinson. I love when people bring up Mitchell Robinson. I'm going to name 3 players. The first 2 I'm going to name are 2-time champions. The last one I'm going to name is a 1-time champion. What is the difference between Mitchell Robinson and Kevon Looney? Kevon Looney led the league this year in offensive rebounds. You know who was second? Mitchell Robinson. What is the difference between Mitchell Robinson? Hold on.
I'm gonna tell you the difference
between Mitchell Robinson and JaVale McGee?
I'm gonna tell you the difference.
Three-time champion JaVale McGee.
I'm gonna tell you the difference.
And here's another one. What's the difference between Mitchell Robinson and Tyson Chandler?
I'm gonna tell you the difference. I'm gonna tell you the difference.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you the difference. They had shooters around them. The Knicks don't have those kind of shooters around them. So I think the different team constructions. You can compare players, but you also got to look at their teams. When you have different team constructions, different teams need a different type of player sometimes.
Yeah.
This team, I believe, needs a shooting five. You're talking about Steph Curry and Klay Thompson with two of those players.
And Dirk Nowitzki and LeBron James.
No. That's a poor argument because you can make that argument.
Wait, bro. Hold on. Lauren, you can't say having the greatest shooter ever and the second greatest shooter ever on your team is not a factor. And you having Dirk Nowitzki, you're talking about three. You're talking about Hold on, bro. You're talking about three bona fide Hall of Famers. You're talking about three Hall of Famers.
I think I'm missing the point though. Lauren,
you know what they have before they
Sam,
shoot?
based on Lauren, I got your back real quick. So Sam, based on what you're saying, in regards to the Knicks player personnel, you're saying that the Knicks are incapable of running pick and roll.
What I'm saying is that I'm telling you, no, don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say that.
Asking a question.
I didn't say that. What I'm saying is their offense can be better with a shooting five that can spread the floor for Randall, for Jalen Brunson to run a pick and roll because I think it could work better. So that Mitchell Robinson is not always in the dunker spot because that brings a lot of double teams to Julius Randle. Guys that not even fully doubling, but they're lurking. They're doing a quasi double team. They're standing there in the paint waiting for him to make a move. Bam Adebayo said it after they eliminated the Knicks. This is what we were doing. And then as soon as he would take a shot, we were sending three guys to come contest the shot. That's exactly what they were doing. If you go back and you look at Cleveland, Jared Allen, he wasn't even guarding Mitchell Robinson. Wherever Julius Randle was, he was lurking the baseline, waiting for Julius Randle to make a move. And that's why I think a three-point shooting center would help open this offense up.
Sim, we've seen what happened. I'm asking, what if Mitchell Robinson was a screener? What if we use Mitchell Robinson as a screener?
Because when he screens, if you pay attention, when he screens, his player drops all the way back to the foul line. They don't even come up to help or hedge. They drop back.
All right, so let me ask you this question. It's going to be a simple one, and ain't going to be no beating around the bush, right? That same series, Knicks versus Miami Heat, all we do is switch coaches. Who's winning that? We don't switch any players, just the coaches. Who's winning that series?
Probably the Miami Heat.
No way.
I mean, you can say that. It's all hypothetical. It's all hypothetical. So you can't say anything. You can't say anything for sure. But Eric Spoelstra is a better coach. So who is your coach? You say switch coaches. Who's your coach? David Fizdale? Who's your coach? Who's your coach?
The thing that homie said about the Warriors shooters, before they have shooting, the standard is, if you go back and you look at the 2014 San Antonio Spurs, which is considered the most beautiful form of basketball ever. Before they have shooting, the standard is ball movement first. I don't care if Shaq is at man movement. Move the ball and cut. You know what I'm saying? You cannot have two of your best players leading the clock from
I get that. But when you're talking hypotheticals and you say, we don't have Tom Thibodeau, but who the hell is the coach? You're not saying who the coach is. Is it Mike D'Antoni? Is it somebody?
He said if you swap the coaches.
Tom Thibodeau has not been coaching since the Knicks. He coached the Bulls, he coached the Timberwolves, and they fired him for the same reason.
But who is your coach?
He got let go for the same reason.
Who is your coach? That's what I'm asking.
That's Leon Rose's job.
No. You said, wait a minute. Let me be clear. Did you say Eric Spoelstra was on the Knicks and Tom Thibodeau was on the Heat, or did you say
yes,
a different coach? Oh, well, okay.
Switch.
All right. I dig that. I get that.
Well,
yes.
Well, hold
yes.
on, but Lauren, let me say this.
Hold on, Isaiah. Yes. The Knicks would have won that series because Eric Spoelstra was a better coach.
Exactly.
I get that. I get that. But he's not on the Knicks, and he's not going to be with the Knicks. So you're not firing
Which is
Tibbs
my
and
point
getting
about,
Eric
which is my
Spoelstra.
point about Tom Thibodeau.
That's
Which
not
is
his
my
point,
point about
Sam.
Tom Thibodeau. The
That's not what
roster's
he's
not
trying
the
to say.
problem. It's the coach.
I dig that. So
The
if you
roster's not the
took
problem.
Eric Spoelstra and you put him on other teams, it would have happened the same way.
No, because
Exactly,
he
but
just
that's my
gave you the
point.
numbers
You can't-
to
you
explain
can't
to you how
say-
bad
you
the
I
can't-
Knicks
did it.
offense
I get it. I
is.
get it.
Man,
But Miami
not
Heat's
to-
offense was terrible against the Knicks too.
It really was.
It was
They got
terrible
better
against
shots
the
than
Knicks
we
too.
did. They got better shots than we
But
did.
they-
It was
I
terrible. Go
think-
look at their
I
shooting
think-
percentages. Go look at what they did
Tom-
against the Knicks too. What I'm saying, I'm not
Thibodeau
saying
is
Tom
not a
Thibodeau
good
is perfect,
overall
but
coach.
I'm not saying Tom Thibodeau is perfect. But what I'm saying is, I think it has just as much to do with personnel.
But this is it does to a certain extent. But here's why we can't focus on the personnel though, because the new CBA is going to make it basically impossible to have a roster constructed this deep, this low. So we have to strike while Jalen Brunson is not going to cost $24 million again ever again. Like
I get it.
he's
I
gonna
get
be
it. I
30,
get it. I
40.
get it. I get
You know
it.
what
I
I'm
get
saying?
all
We
of that.
have
I
to
get
do
all of that.
something
You know what I'm saying?
right now.
But to put the blame squarely on Thibodeau, I think is a mistake.
No,
I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying he's perfect, but
you try to throw Mitch under the bus.
because I think that's a big part of the reason why the offense doesn't go the way you want it to go, or somebody else. I do.
Wait. Hold on. No.
I
We're
didn't
not
throw
gonna-
him under the
hold
bus.
on,
I'm
Lauren.
saying
But
I think that's a personnel piece that doesn't match right now.
Match what?
Sim, can I say
Match
something?
what the hell we do. We're trying to spread the floor.
We're not spreading the floor. We're dribbling. We're not spreading the floor.
I mean, we do
spacing is
dribble. I
horrible.
do dribble. We do dribble. But a lot of our offense is swinging the ball around the perimeter to get an open three. We do. We do some screen and roll. Sometimes we do.
Lauren, I can't let
We
you
do a
that,
double.
Lauren.
Bro,
We
Because Lauren, let me say something. Because let me say this. Because during the Miami series, you watched the whole Miami series, right?
Mhm.
How many times was Obi Toppin open in the corner and he clinked the three?
here's the question.
Not just Obi.
here's the question.
I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, just for example,
Here's the question for you.
there was plenty of times, and
Here's the question for
mind
you.
you, brother, we had a lot of open threes in that Miami
Here's the
series,
question
and we
for
was
you.
clanking
Here's
them.
the question for you. Here is the question. Why is Obi Toppin at 3? Why is he at 3? He can cut, slash, pick and roll. Why is he standing at 3?
Lauren,
I
can-
get it. I get
Lauren,
it. I get it.
Lauren,
No
Lauren,
one's
you
saying
think-
that
Lauren,
he.
The crazy thing
Hold
is,
on.
Lauren,
Go ahead.
I'm agreeing. Lauren, I agree with you with a lot of what you're saying. I have been one of the main people on this channel. Multiple years, I've said the Knicks should be cutting way more. We have a lot of great cutters on this team. RJ Barrett should be average of 20-something points efficiently if he cut more. I've been saying this. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying to you that during the Miami series, it just wasn't Obi.
Mhm.
There was plenty of times in that series, there were open shots. We weren't hitting them. There were
Which
plenty
is
of
fine.
open shots where
Which is
we
fine.
weren't doing it.
But
The
here's the
Knicks
thing,
were
though. But
moving
here's
the
the thing,
ball,
though. If-
but we just couldn't
but
make
here's the thing.
shots.
But here's the thing. If Dikembe Mutombo misses
hold on,
three,
where was
I'm
Quick-
not
where was
blaming
Quickly?
Dikembe Mutombo.
He was
Where
hurt.
was Quickly? Where was
was hurt.
Grimes?
Quickly was hurt.
What was Quickly doing before he played?
Nothing.
Before he
wasn't
got
aggressive
hurt.
at all.
Before he got hurt, what was he doing?
Yeah, he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't
guys
playing aggressive at all.
were not hitting shots, and we were getting open shots. We were getting open looks. Guys were not hitting them. I'm just saying this. If you're just gonna squarely say, yeah, replace Tibbs, the Knicks win the championship, that's bull.
No.
That's bull. And it's not just because of
not
Tom
that we win a
Thibodeau.
championship.
It's not. It's not just because of
replace-
Tom
hold on,
Thibodeau.
'cause
Is he
Lauren,
part
I'ma
of
get on
it?
you.
Yes, but he's not. It's not just because of Tom Thibodeau.
Lauren, let me ask you this, Lauren. Where were you at with the Miami Heat from like 2015 to about maybe 2 years ago?
What, with Eric Spoelstra?
Yeah.
I would take a coach who understands the fundamentals and goes 0 for 82. Then a coach who
hold
just
on, Lauren,
dribbles
because
and-
nobody was talking about Eric Spoelstra being this. It was always he had LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. And
No,
granted,
that's
I think Eric
absolutely
Spoelstra
not
is a
true.
great coach.
That's absolutely not true.
Yeah, well,
That's absolutely not true.
At
That's
the
not true.
beginning of the season, the Miami Heat fans wanted Eric Spoelstra fired too.
And they're stupid. I'll take
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, okay,
exactly.
all right.
Bring them here.
Cool. Well, I'm just saying they
Bring
did. They did. But my thing is, I don't believe it is entirely Tom Thibodeau. Like
Okay, so now
they
here's
would
the
have you
question.
like
Here's the
you would
question
have
for
it
you.
believe.
Where do you see us? Where do you see us in 5 years? Where do you see the Knicks in 5 years? Do you see us with Tom Thibodeau? Do you see us without Tom Thibodeau? Do you see us with star players? Where do you see the Knicks?
I have no clue, to be honest with you.
Where
I
would you
have
like
no
to see
clue.
the Knicks?
I mean, obviously, I would like to see him. I would like to see him winning the championship, being a championship contender.
Will Tom Thibodeau? Do you believe Tom Thibodeau will be that guy to do that?
I don't know, because everybody says no, and they may be right. But no coach in this league had a championship until they won a championship.
So now here's another factor, right? Before I go, right? I don't want to hold you out too long. One more thing that I'm saying, right? Free agents and superstar players are an important part of this league. Obviously, you get superstar players. CBA is going to do what CBA is going to do. I'm sure you are all aware of that small poll that was placed with the players in the league, about 55 to 60 of them, about the least likely coach they want to play for. Are y'all aware of that list?
Very aware of
that
it.
poll.
Very aware of it.
We are aware that Tom Thibodeau is the last coach anybody wants to play for.
Very aware of it.
So why are we holding on to this guy?
You know,
why?
Mike D'Antoni was the coach that everybody wanted to play for. They still didn't come to the Knicks.
How many times have he got fired?
They still didn't come to the Knicks.
How many times he got fired, Sam?
Right.
Who?
Exactly. Mike D'Antoni. He was the coach. Everybody said, everybody wants to play for Mike D'Antoni. And nobody still came to play for him.
Opposite spectrum. He's the exact opposite of the spectrum of Tom Thibodeau. He only does offense.
But what I'm saying is, you're saying nobody wants to play for Tom Thibodeau. I'm saying everybody wanted to play for Mike D'Antoni, and no one came to play for Mike D'Antoni.
I mean, if I'm correct, did Mike D'Antoni take the Rockets to the Western Conference Finals with James Harden?
I'm talking
Was
about
that him or
I'm
no?
talking about New York. I'm not talking about Houston.
Fam, that was a different New York. That was a different New York. That was a different New York.
No.
We in
Did
the
anybody
Leon
come
era.
play for him?
Right now.
Did anybody come play for him in New York? Did anybody come play for him in New York?
I mean, all right. So that was the Melo era. Nobody was getting the ball, so fuck it. I mean, shit.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah. A million different ways. Nobody came to play for him. Nobody came to play for Mike D'Antoni either. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know.
And Lauren,
I don't know.
Lauren, let me say.
Well, you know, we talk about that poll. We don't know what players was on that poll. Paul George just did his interview with Julius Randle, and he said the players, he loved them, and other players loved them.
Those are the
Yeah,
superstars.
of course, Julius Randle is going to say he loves Tom Thibodeau.
No,
He
Paul
gets the ball
George. I didn't say Tom. I didn't say Julius Randle. I said Paul George. I didn't say
Paul
Julius
George
Randle.
says he loves Tom Thibodeau.
Yes, he did.
Yes. Watch this. Listen, hold on, Sam. I'm going to go even further, Sam.
Coaches to play for.
I'm just telling you what he said. I don't know what he lists. I'm not going to speculate on what he lists as his favorite coach to play for. I'm just telling you what he said.
Yeah.
Hey, Sim,
That's all I can say.
And Sim, to be even more and to be more, when he talked about that segment in USA, it started off as, man, Davis is so detail orientated. All this, he works hard. We really run it hard. But guess what? He appreciated it because he became a better player out of it.
That's amazing. And he did that. He did that in the tournament setting, not 82 games plus playoffs. Yeah, it's a different.
And he did it as an assistant coach.
It's different.
As an assistant.
Hey.
It's different.
Anyway, Lauren, please call back again, man. I appreciate your call.
No doubt. Now I love
Appreciate the
Keep on
conversation,
protecting,
man. Thank you. Peace.
Take care.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah.
Sam, I don't think he's completely wrong. I think two things can be true at the same time. I don't think it's all about Tibbs. However, the numbers he said are glaring. The numbers are glaring, and it's been that way for the last 4 years since Tibbs has been here.
But
the offensive numbers are glaring.
But that's what I said. That's what I said. I said I don't think you can blame it all on Tibbs. I never said Tibbs was a perfect coach, but I don't think you can blame it all on Tibbs.
Hey, Sim,
You know
someone said it best. They said they love Monty and Nick Nurse too.
Yeah. And when he was saying that about Thibodeau, I didn't realize that he said switch. You know, switch. I thought he said if you replaced Tom Thibodeau. That, you know, I didn't realize he said switch Tom Thibodeau. That's the reason why I said no, because they still had Eric Spoelstra on the team. You know what I'm saying?
I am thankful for what Tom Thibodeau has instilled as far as a culture and all of that. I am very, very grateful for it. But I do believe he is on the clock. And I'm not saying it's going to happen next season, next offseason, during the course of the season. I think he is on the clock, though. And I think every team he's been on, and it's been known throughout his career, it's been well documented, Tibbs can only get you so far, right? There has to be someone else to come in and take you to the next level.
Actually, though, here's the thing. Every team that Tom Thibodeau's coached for as head coach, when he's left, they failed to make the playoffs. He was coaching with Chicago. He got fired. They didn't make the playoffs. Matter of fact, they made the playoffs up until he got fired. They didn't make the playoffs. He went to Minnesota, turned it around. They made the playoffs. Tibbs was gone. They stopped making the playoffs until, obviously, they rebuilt. Well, not necessarily rebuilt, but redesigned or whatever you want to say, because they still have Karl Anthony Towns and all of that.
Again, I'm saying you have to still hire the right guy. I mean, it's two parts to that puzzle. I'm not saying Tibbs is.
But you said that they had to bring in someone over, to take it over, but neither one of those teams.
That's the thought process going into it.
Right, but neither one of those teams have done anything since he stopped coaching them, to be honest with you.
So do we fear the same fate for the Knicks? Do we think that's going to happen next if we get rid of Tom Thibodeau, then we won't do anything?
No, but see, that's no one said anything about that. What you're saying is that people believe that you got to fire Tom Thibodeau and bring in a better coach for your team to get better. But in each place that he's been fired, they haven't gotten better, and they haven't done anything. That's my point, right? For those teams, they haven't gotten better. You know what I'm saying? And, people always go back and talk about Chicago. The first year he was there with Derrick Rose, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, right? After that, after that season, Derrick Rose played in one playoff game the next year, got hurt, and he didn't come back to the playoffs for 3 years. He came back to the playoffs. They went to the second round. Tom Thibodeau got fired after that year. You know what I'm saying? That was, I'm not saying that Tom Thibodeau is the perfect coach and all that, but that was a tough situation for Tom Thibodeau there when your best player can't stay on the court.
There's been a couple series now that I've looked at with Tibbs coaching that I felt like he could have done better and potentially helped his team win the series. He's a great regular season coach. Can't argue with it. The record speaks for itself. But come playoff times, he gets caught in his habits, and that's where I'm coming from. I think come playoff time, the Knicks are going to be a playoff team. I just think Tibbs is only going to take us so far. I think we need to, not right now. I'm not saying fire the guy right now, but I think there is we got to start looking. Yeah. Forward thinking.
Okay, I get it. Let me get to a caller on the line. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So my name is Zim from Toronto, actually. Well, I'm living in Toronto, but I've been listening to this podcast, and I just think the barometer for success with Knicks fans are so low. It's actually unbelievable. I've been a Knicks fan since the early 90s, and to be quite fair, I just think Knicks fans have a very, very, very low barometer for success. Tom Thibodeau is an absolute horrible manager. Coach, I should say. I just don't get it. Our offense is absolutely ugly to watch. I've watched games where the Knicks literally were in winning positions and we managed to somehow lose the game. You can even look through your chat and even the Knicks fans in there, and it's just it's horrible basketball to watch. And the whole idea that, he left teams and they've done worse. Wow. That's that. I don't really get the logic behind that argument. I just think that
you
there
had
are
to
better
listen to the
coaches
entire
with
argument.
newer ideas.
You had to listen to the entire argument to understand the logic behind what I said there.
Well, no. Well, so essentially, what's the premise? Your argument is based that if we get rid of Tibbs, then the Knicks could possibly do worse.
No,
that's what I said too.
No, yeah. but see, then you weren't listening either, Josh. The argument was that Josh said that teams feel like they have to fire Tom Thibodeau to get better, and what I said is when they fired Tom Thibodeau, they haven't gotten better. That's what I'm saying.
They probably haven't, and but that doesn't necessarily mean that the Knicks needs to continue with him if the Knicks want to actually.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. What I'm saying is,
I can hold my hand up to that. I can hold my hand up to that. So I'll that's retracted. But essentially, what I'm saying is, Knicks fans are not necessarily, they're concerned with the really pedantic stuff with regards to how the organization is being ran. The fact is, we need a better coach with better offense and better ideas. There's a lot of talented players there. For me personally, I mean, obviously there's biases with regards to players and how you think the offense should be ran. I think Randall should be gone, to be quite fair. I think RJ Barrett should be gone as well. I think those guys are underperforming. People are looking at RJ Barrett as being some sort of the next Allen Houston or something. The guy's absolute trash. And I think the Knicks need to cash in on him while his value is still at its peak. Same with Randall. Randall is a very selfish player. If you actually look at the Knicks games and you actually, you know, like you pay attention to the details and you look at Randall's game and you understand why the Knicks lose a lot of their games. And I just think you need a more balanced individual and you should cash in on him while his value is still at its peak.
Okay. So is it coaching
I know
or
Knicks
is it
fans,
personnel?
you know, the barometer for success is pretty low. Sorry, go ahead.
So is it coaching or personnel? Because if we got two,
I think it's a mixture of both. I think a good coach should be able to identify that Randall is essentially the one of the key reasons why. Don't get me wrong, we've won games with him, but he's one of the key reasons why we've lost a lot of games as well. He's gone to that point where he thinks he's bigger than the actual organization. If you listen to his podcast, things that he says on podcasts, the way he responds to fans, he actually thinks he's too good for the Knicks. And I just think that we need to cash in on him while his value is high. I think the Knicks and Knicks fans need to actually start acting like a big organization, a big basketball team. And I know we could see, you know, like we haven't won anything for like 60 odd years, fair enough, but you have to act like a big organization to be taken seriously. And that's the problem. I just think it's a lot of inundated nonsense that people just keep arguing. Tibbs is just not good enough. He just needs to leave. Like, I just think he's not. Tell me a coach that's gotten us past the second round of the playoffs.
Say that again.
When has Tibbs gotten past the second round in the playoffs? We should have beaten that.
I mean, the last time that Tom Thibodeau's gotten past the second round in the playoffs was 2010 and 11, I think, when he went to the Eastern Conference Finals with Derrick Rose.
Yeah, and that's a long time ago, right? Like, we're looking at, 13 years, 13 years there, essentially. The reason I say that is just that there are a lot of younger managers with better ideas in terms of the way the game is now being played. And the problem is, I think we're trading away a lot or getting rid of a lot of key pieces with regards to the way basketball is being played now. Modern basketball is played behind the three-point line. We don't necessarily have a lot of three-point shooters, but we do have guards that can penetrate. The thing is, somebody like Grimes, I think he's an absolute amazing basketball player if you can utilize him correctly. If he gets a coach that knows how to utilize him, like if that guy goes to the Heat, if you're telling me he's not better than Tyler Hero, he is. 100%.
No,
all around game, he's better than Tyler Hero.
No.
He's better than 80% of their roster. Shooting-wise, he's way better than most of their roster.
He's not better than Tyler Hero, I don't think. I don't think he is.
You're having a laugh, mate. You're having a laugh if you think he's not better than Tyler Hero.
I'm having a laugh. I'm having a laugh for sure because I don't think he's better than Tyler Hero.
No, I think he's better than Tyler Hero. I think he's a better shooter than Tyler Hero. He's a better facilitator. That's just my opinion. Okay. I think a lot of people would share that as well. I just think that he's untapped potential. That's just what I think it is. I think it's on top of potential. People would look at a player like Klay Thompson years ago and think, when he first came into the league, and be like, yeah, this guy's absolute trash.
I mean, listen, I don't think Quentin Grimes is trash. I just don't think if you put him on the Heat, he's going to be better. He's better than Tyler Hero. I think he's good. I think he's got a lot of potential.
He's better than 80% of their roster. The guys that they have on there, he has a way higher ceiling than most of the players that the Heat have on their roster.
Oh, he does. A lot of the guys, the role players that they had out there, he does. Not Tyler Hero, I don't think. But I hope that you're right. I really hope you're right because I think that they're keeping him around. So I hope you're right.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
If you look at Tyler Hero's stats, I mean, come on, let's be realistic here. What is the guy averaging? Like, the guy's been out. Like, his career average is about, 15 points per game in the regular season. The playoffs, he's absolutely abysmal. I just think he's on the decline. I just think Grimes is up. What my point is, I think that there's on-top potential, and a coach like Spoelstra will probably get the best out of him. That's what good coaches do. Okay. And I don't think Thibodeau has that in him. I just don't think he has the ability to bring out the best in young players. And we have a young core of players. If you're going to rely on Randall to get you past the second round of the playoffs, you're absolutely having a laugh because it's just not going to happen with Tim and the type of offense that we play. It's just not going to happen.
All right, Wazim, I appreciate
think we need to get more. Yeah, I just think we need to get realistic, and I think the Knicks fans need to. And I'll give you an example. And you guys are going to hate this as as ballers, but for example, in the Premier League, right? What the biggest clubs in the Premier League, the one thing that they do is that these clubs have money, and when they invest, success comes with investment. But the one thing that they do, for example, Chelsea, I'm not a fan of them, but the one thing that they do is that they will get rid of a manager season in, season out. And as a result of doing that for the last 20 years, Chelsea have come from a club that was a mid-table outfit to now being one of the biggest and most successful teams in Europe. And it's because they have that mentality of, if you fail, there's no sentiment behind it. It's all about winning, and it's about success. Because what comes with not investing and having a good coach is that, the lure that Madison Square Garden has is just going to dissipate. Players are no longer going to look at the Garden and be like, I want to play there. That's the only thing that the Knicks have banking on them with regards to players now. And that lure is easily going to dissipate in the next 5 years. It's not going to be like, nobody's going to be like, I want to play in the Garden anymore. Like, nobody cares about that anymore. Okay. Younger, upcoming ballers, they don't have that appeal. That doesn't appeal to them anymore. It's about success.
Well,
so you have to create that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm just ranting.
Let me
go
ask
ahead.
You this.
Apologies.
Who would you, before I let you go, who would you put in as the coach? Who would you hire?
It's a weird one. I know we've been down this road before, but somebody like Ty Lue, I think, would be better than he would have more modern ideas than Tom Thibodeau. I know we've gone down the D'Antoni route before, but I just think basketball is just evolving, and we need to we need to get with the times. Look, the Raptors just hired the assistant coach from is it from the Jazz? I believe it is. This is a team that literally won a championship 2 seasons ago, and they've gotten rid of that coach 2 or 3 seasons ago. And they got rid of the coach already because there was no success. And that's what you have to do. A successful organization generally identifies gaps, and it's like, you know what, like, we can't continue along this path because there's no success coming with it. Right. So if the Raptors can get rid of their coach who got them to a final where they beat the Golden State Warriors, why can't the Knicks, who's a way bigger organization with a lot
Phoenix,
more resources and lure, is persisting with Tom Thibodeau? Go ahead, sir.
No.
I was saying, and Phoenix and Milwaukee and all those other teams as well.
Wasim, thank you for your time, man. I appreciate your call. Hopefully you call back.
Have a good one. Yeah.
Have a good one. Later. Well, we'll see.
RJ is absolute trash, man.
We'll see, man. We'll see what happens. The Knicks and Obi Toppin, ladies and gentlemen, looks like they're on their way to parting ways, and we'll see what the Knicks end up bringing back for Obi, or if it's part of a package, or whatever it is. But I think it's the right move for Obi. I mean, Obi's not going to get, with the way things are currently constructed, he's not going to get playing time. The playing time that he wants to get. He wants to prove that he can be a starter in this league. He wants to, prove that he can give you that, that type of top-notch production. And the Knicks need to upgrade their roster with players that are actually going to play. So, it looks like that might be the right thing. But, Josh, I'm going to get up out of here, man. Appreciate you jumping in. Did you have anything else you wanted to jump in to say about anything?
I mean, hopefully the Knicks are going to be able to make a move and go for a bigger fish. I don't want to see Obi Toppin traded for pennies on a dollar.
Yeah, definitely don't want to see him traded for pennies on a dollar. I dig it there. Ladies and gentlemen, wait a minute. I had one more thing, though, before I get out of here. Josh, you're going to have to look at this on YouTube in order to see it, because I don't have it set up for you to be able to see it.
Go ahead.
And Isaiah jumped off, so, he got off. But anyway, Legion was calling in. Call back in, Legion. I'll get you on the line. This is Isaiah's bookshelf, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna put a poll in the chat. I'll give Legion the chance to call in. I'm gonna put a poll in the chat. Right? Is this book stand sturdy or not? You know what I'm saying? This is the book stand that Isaiah made for his lady. He was supposed to be on. Right? He was supposed to be on, but he didn't make it. He didn't stay on. He knew I was getting ready to put it up there. Caller, you're live, man. Tell me your name and where you're from.
Hey, this is Carson Billiam.
Carson, what's going on?
This is Gmo, man.
You disguised
Come
your
on,
voice
man.
very well. I thought you was Carson. I thought you was Carson Williams. What's going on, Gmo?
Nah, man, what's good, man. Y'all need to stop with this crap, man. Y'all need to stop with this, man.
What?
Put some respect on Tibbs. Not saying you necessarily. Put some respect on Tibbs' name, man. We are not there yet to start removing coaches and getting the so-called championship level coach, man. Look, I'm not saying Tom Thibodeau is not without flaw, but you look at the roster. A lot of these coaches that people love so much, there's a reason why Kerr didn't come here. I'm pretty sure Monty, if he came here, probably would have been doing what Tibbs has done, right? The first year he comes here, he instills defense, he instills rebounding. Okay, the offensive rating was trash, but let's look at the personnel that was here. A lot of misfits, a lot of guys, and Tom Thibodeau still made dinner with a bunch of freaking bags of chips that really didn't fit together. Second year, obviously, the Fournier, Kemba thing didn't work. Overplaying Alec Burks over IQ, stunning IQ, to an extent, stun his development. You put that on Tibbs. But again, the personnel was not great. The first year we get a point guard, an actual point guard. And we're sitting up here, now it's time to get rid of Tibbs. We're not even up to our second so-called true legit start. Now, I'm not ishing on Randall. It's not an ish on Randall day or whatever. But we have a lot of inconsistent pieces. My son, RJ Barrett, inconsistent. IQ was inconsistent this year, did well in the second half, played like trash in the playoffs. Grimes, there's a whole bunch of open shots. Obi Toppin, whatever, right? And we're going to sit up here, Josh Hart played well in that second half. The playoffs, he was scared to shoot. You know what I'm saying? Now, people talking about, we got to bring in this coach to do. What are these coaches doing with these guys? They got open shots and we're missing them. They had the opportunities and we're missing them. The only guy who played well throughout the playoffs was really Brunson. RJ had some good games in the Cleveland Heat series, but he shot terribly from outside. Randall was hurt, so I can't really get on him too much. We had 2 ankle injuries in a span of 5-6 weeks. What was it, 6 weeks or whatever? So I'm just saying, I know people want to get rid of Tibbs, but I'm telling you, the grass is not always greener. People want to look at coaches or teams like the Kings. The Kings had a bunch of those players last year and didn't do it. They got Malik Monk. They got Kevin Porter. And they did a lot better with Sabonis. Sabonis and Fox looking like AZ and Nas out there. But the first year they joined together, or half the season, everybody, they look terrible. So it's a personnel league. If you don't have the personnel, all there's coaches, that ain't going to work. And for the last caller, God bless you, bro. Please don't ever bring up Spoelstra again. What they have down there in the Heat is probably one of the more unique situations in the NBA where conditioning, you got Pat Riley, you got Spoelstra. They've been in tandem in terms of, not to say tandem, but they've been in like a perfect synergy for years. And you can still say this year they overachieved, right? So again, it's all about talent. Look at the Nuggets. They gentlemen sweep the Heat, and you got Murray, who's probably one of the better 2 guards in the league when healthy. And you got your man Jokic, arguably the best center, top 3 players in the league. So everybody sitting up here talking about, you got to change the coaching. Okay, well, let's see how these players respond to another coach who can't instill the same defensive principles and rebounding like Tibbs could do. I'm just saying, man, y'all guys gotta chill out with it's time to change up the coaches. Like, bro, our roster is still in flux. We're not there yet for these so-called championship level coaches who, by the way, are getting fired. Monty Williams, 5 seconds or less offense. Everybody loves that. Everybody loves Monty Williams. Fired. Your man, Nick Nurse. Toronto, King of the North. Fired. Freaking, who's the dude who was there before with the with Toronto Raptors? Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his damn name. With Detroit now, he got fired. And he just got fired from Detroit.
Dwayne Casey.
I'm just saying, man. Look, I understand people want to get rid of Tibbs, but you got to look at this roster and be honest and say, are we there yet? And we are not, man. And I'm just saying, look, Brunson is a great starting piece. We're just not there to move on to another coach. Because again, if you look at for instance, look at our offensive rating, right? We're not one of the better scorers in the league. We're not one of the better creators in the league. But what was one of the things that saved us? Offensive rebounding, right? That's something that Tom Thibodeau and the coaching staff instilled in his team. Hey, look, we're going to try to dominate the boards on both ends, defensive and offensive rebounding. That's why Mitchell Robinson has great value with this team. He wasn't drafted by this regime per se. Isaiah Hartenstein, all these guys, Josh Hart. They're so-called building identity, and we're not there yet. So I just want people to hold their horses. And for those who want to change to another coach, please tell me the schemes you want to run, and the coach will come here and instill those schemes in these guys. And last, if they've done it with a former team, with the same value of players or worse. Because you can't sit up here and say, oh, give me this coach who did such and such with this team, but this team got 3 stars on the squad. Of course, I could do anything if I got freaking Clay, Curry, and freaking Draymond or freaking Tatum and Brown. Of course. Yeah, of course Udoka looks like a great coach with that talented squad. There's a reason why they don't like going to squads who don't have great talent or abject teams. I'm not saying the Knicks are that, but I'm just saying put respect in Tom Thibodeau's name. Oh, lastly, because I know I'm blabbering a little bit, for the guy who said that no one likes Tom Thibodeau, go around the league. Please stop going online and listen to what guys like Cat says. Cat is as talented as he's a clown. You have other guys around the league. Wiggins said, yo, I like Tom Thibodeau. Levine credit Tom Thibodeau despite the fact he got traded. Your man Paul George yesterday said, yo, we love Tom Thibodeau. We just know he's crazy. He stays in the office, but we love Tom Thibodeau. Lowry said he run through a wall for Tom Thibodeau. Josh Hart said he loved Tom Thibodeau. Don't let these guys fool you or let the people on social media make you seem like Tom Thibodeau's not beloved around the league, bro. There's a reason why he was a coach on Team USA. He also was one of the bigger believers in Kobe Bryant. I believe he was like also trying to tutor his daughter, Gigi or whatnot. Mm-hmm. But he was one of the bigger believers in Kobe Bryant. Believed this kid when he was in high school. So I'm just saying, man, for all the people that y'all making him Tom Thibodeau was this hated coach. No, he's trying to instill a lot of the fundamentals that a lot of these kids are not developing. Look at AAU basketball. You see it, Sim. Some of these kids
agree with you.
Can't rebound, can't set a screen, can't process a play. And people sit up here and say, oh, get rid of Tom Thibodeau, when literally you're seeing the development of some of these young guys like IQ, trapping the defender on the hip as he operates off the pick and roll. Grimes being a better handler on the ball. I know he was a point guard in college, but that flopped at Kansas, became a 3-and-D guy. But he looks a lot better coming off the wings, coming off the corner, attacking closeouts with the ball in his hand. A lot of things that Tom Thibodeau's doing with that first team that Fred Katz wrote about in the Athletic. But, people want to give Tom Thibodeau that credit. So I'm just saying, man, the grass ain't always greener. Let's be a little bit patient. He'll most likely be out of here next 2 years. My bad. What you say?
That was Isaiah talking. He didn't have his headphones on. Out here slacking. So you couldn't hear. But yo, G-Mon, I agree with everything that you said. I'm with Tom Thibodeau. I'm not saying he's a perfect coach, but I'm a Tom Thibodeau supporter. You know what I'm saying? He makes mistakes, without a doubt. But I don't think the Knicks are here without him. Bottom line,
I just think a lot of us, if we get another coach and it's not as pretty, because there are a lot of coaches. For instance, Brian Shaw, if you see what he did with like the G League Ignite a few years ago and stuff like that, he's a good coach. But go look at his first stint with the Nuggets. You know what I'm saying? Where he was doing the rah and trying to teach a whole bunch of young kids, and that flopped. Even Fizzo, when he came in, Fizzo tried to infuse a bunch of new offensive philosophies and all that stuff. Spain pick and roll, this and that thing flopped. I'm just saying, man, it's not as pretty. You need personnel. Personnel makes it a lot easier. Or you have to have a unique situation like the Heat, where from top down, from the owner to the coach, you have the riches of basketball intellect in Pat Riley that can spill down into Spoelstra. You draft a certain way, right? I forget who the guy who is gonna, like, they're looking at him to be a GM or whatever. I forget his damn name, but he's a guy who's been responsible for scouting guys like Max Strus and all these undrafted second round guys, the Duncan Robinsons and whatnot. We don't have that situation, so I'm just saying, guys, be patient, man. Let's see what they bring in. I mean, Obi Toppin was not the pick. Sim, I told you that. Should draft my son Vassell, but you know what I'm saying? If you have, say, Vassell, if you have, say, a Maxey, if you had, say, a Tyrese Halliburton, maybe things are different against the Heat.
I can't even lie. I can't even lie. During that time, Halliburton was my guy, but I said if Obi dropped, I would draft Obi. But Halliburton was my guy. Matter of fact,
yep.
I said I think he could be something good in this league, and you was like, you think he could be this? You could think. Don't.
Oh no! So don't do that, because I'll say this. I was on, off, on, and off.
Oh, okay.
On Halliburton, but I never wanted Obi. That's for sure. I never wanted Obi.
You're right.
But Halliburton, I'll give you that. Halliburton, I think. All right. So Cole Anthony was the one guy we said, "Yo, watch that he be a bum on the Knicks, but he be a beast somewhere else."
Right.
Halliburton, I know you were a staunch believer in. I was on and off, so I can't really say I can claim him, but I would have had him over Obi. And then Vassell was my guy. Yeah. And all three of those guys, I think, would have done better for the Knicks. So, again, it's about talent, Sam.
Yo, Guillermo, who was my number one choice, Guillermo?
Yeah.
Guillermo, who was my number one choice?
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see.
I
I'm sorry
wanted
for blabbering on,
Devin
but put some respect into the name, man. I'm
Nah,
bugging
no
out, man.
doubt. All right, G-Mo, appreciate it, man. Thank you for calling it. Appreciate it.
Sim, let me say something.
I just said Tom Thibodeau's on the clock. I just think, particularly if the Knicks don't do as well as they did last season, I think people want to start those rumors are going to start coming. Yeah. I just think he's on the clock. Okay. I ain't trying to fire him right now.
I get it. Isaiah, I'm so glad you made it back.
Sim, let me tell you something, Sim.
I'm so glad you made it back.
Sim, let me say something, Sim.
There it is. There it is.
I can't even see it. Hold on.
You're going to see it on you. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Big Bubba is here to explain the entire process, what went on, his thought process in building this ashy bookshelf. It's a little bit ashy, for at least the picture I see. A little bit
Somebody
ashy.
said that bookshelf on the clock.
So,
first of all,
right now, 68% of the chat, Big Bubba says, the stand ain't sturdy.
Listen, man, it's very sturdy. First and foremost, a lot of you, that's 68%. I'm coming for you. You bet. Listen, don't be at that cookout. You're getting your plate last. I promise. The 29% though, you got my heart. Sim, let me say about these haters in here. Because I see some people talking crazy. Oh, man, this what the cat do. He got to build a bookshelves and all this. I'm whipped and all this. Listen, man.
Bro, she had you building a bookshelf.
Listen, man, my lady. Listen, if everybody don't know already, my lady sells books, and she wanted a bookcase. She wanted it, and I said, I got you, baby. I'm going to make you one. We going to make it. I got the wood from Home Depot. It's sturdy, great wood. It says we got a long, but we got a 12-foot long board. We cut it in individual pieces. We got a base in there. The base is very solid. The
wheels
back of it
on it and all that, fancy with it.
The back of it's cardboard. If I'm not cardboard.
Cardboard. Oh my God! Cardboard. Josh, did you hear what he said? The back of it is cardboard.
No, it's not cardboard. I forgot the name of it. But it's not cardboard. It's sturdy. It's pretty good. I said sturdy.
Sturdy.
So I hate when I get on the show with you, Sim. No. Yo, I'm gonna get killed for the car.
You staple it in? You staple the back in?
No, I drilled holes in it and I put nails in it. I drilled holes.
Oh man.
Everything's drilled. I drilled all of them. Like I said, we put the wheels in. I'm not gonna say sturdy no more because everybody gonna kill that word now. And so I should have never said cardboard. Now I might kill him with the cardboard, man. Listen, man. It came out. It took us about a few. It's a 1-day project. It took us a few days because we had to stop and keep going and stuff like that. But look, man, it's pretty good. My girl used it today.
Okay,
she used it today.
She put magazines on it, and she put magazines books, and coloring books on it.
First of all, so let me say this: half these dudes don't even want to take their girls on a date, and they gonna be coming for me in here. I don't want to hear none of that. Listen, man. I love my girl. I'm gonna build. She want me to build her a bookcase, Sim. That's how good it came out. She want me to build her a bookcase.
All right. I'm just saying. Okay, I hope so. Just don't bring it to the cookout. Put food on it. Because
I'm bringing it to the cookout.
We don't need to drop food all over the place. People pay their money. Sim, they need to get their food.
You guys got me mad. I'm bringing it to the cookout, and we gonna put some stuff on it. We gonna put
wind blow is gonna knock the back right off.
and I want to make something very clear because everybody keeps saying it look ashy, like it's from the Harriet Tubman times. First, that was a good one. I ain't gonna lie, that was a good one.
Oh man!
First of all, we put 2 coats of the. It's not paint. It's the wood stain. She wanted it a certain color. We got it to the certain color that she liked. She's very detail oriented. If she didn't like it, we would have changed it. Listen, my baby liked the color.
Good,
my baby liked the color.
Good.
I don't care
That's
about
all that matters. She liked that ashy color. must remind her of your ankles or something. I mean,
said don't do that. First of all, I'm very moisturized. Pause. I'm very moisturized. She don't play none of that. So we do the face. Let me shut up. I'm shut up.
Yeah. Anyway, we out of here, ladies and gentlemen. We are out of here. We appreciate you. Please make sure you join us at our first NBK Summer Cookout. The link is in the top of the description. The link is in the top of your YouTube chat. It's also in the description of the video. Join us Thursday at the NBA draft, our draft party for the NBA draft. It's going to be at Legends. All right, see if the Knicks are going to do something by then.
Don't listen.
It's going to be busy.
That's 68%. Don't come on Thursday. I'm gonna be there.
Make sure you join us.
29%. You could come. That 68. Don't be coming up here. Hey Sim, I'm gonna say this right now. I don't want everybody coming to me saying I like the bookshelf. No, keep the same energy when you see me.
You already know. When you get there, they talking. They talking about that bookshelf. Keep the same energy
when you see me, man. I don't want to hear about. Don't pull me to the corner and talk about I like the bookshelf. Make me a bookshelf. No, keep the same energy.
Anyway, we out, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Nick.